Hello, Gary Champion, Psychic Medium once again. I was repairing a lot of stuff around the house yesterday. Shower, little determining the heat, and stuff like that. And I sat down in this chair and someone said stasis really loudly. So I knew what that sort of meant, but really wasn't sure. So I looked it up and it said balance. So stasis means balance. And then I'm seeing sort of a cartoon. It's not real, but you see the Senate and the House of Representatives sort of like you're in a theater or little pie-shaped seating sections. And there's three, because I know there's only two houses in Congress, Senate and House of Representatives. So I'm sitting there thinking stasis. There's three parts to our government. There's only two there. And we're leaving out the Supreme Court and the president and all that stuff. Just the governing part, laws and we the people. And I realized what they were talking about. Who do we have telling us what to do? Who do we have enacting laws, passing judgment, making decisions? We have rich people telling poor people what to do. In case you didn't get that, our government is rich people telling poor people what to do. Our government consists of only rich people. You can't run for an office without a lot of money. You can't get elected, I guarantee you, without running a lot of ads and paying a lot of, let's say, peripheral stuff, lunches, and other things, which I don't need to say here. It takes a lot of money to wangle your way and push your way into winning an election. You don't do it without it. No one's ever done it. Even Lincoln had to have benefactors, which is why he went around giving stupid speeches about stuff, was to raise money. He was saying speeches about things he didn't believe in. He had to have backers. So, to reiterate, we have rich people telling poor people what to do. What does that remind you of? I knew immediately, it came right to mind, something we're not supposed to have in this country. It's the frickin' Middle Ages. It's the monarchy system of ruling, the king and queen, and then you have, I'm not sure how it goes there, but I'm sure there's a prince in there and an earl and a baron and these landed gentry, landowners, the only people that had a vote. And he'd get these people together and say, what do you think, guys? Should we raise taxes? Say, yeah, let's raise taxes. So that's how it was done. What if they don't have it? Well, we can flog them until we feel satisfied, maybe. Maybe they've got a coin hidden somewhere. Rule by the rich over the poor. Down here at the bottom, there were serfs. That was it. You tended the fields, the gardens, horses. You cleaned boots. You swept the palace out. You did everything that the hierarchy didn't want to do, which means everything. Rich people telling poor people what to do. We declare that we don't have a monarchy system, yet we do. The guy at the top is usually the guy that raises the most money, runs the most ads, and promises most stuff which he can't deliver, or under the table promises stuff which he probably can't deliver, or one of his henchmen, for lack of a better word, which someone used and got criticized for on the internet. It's an apt term. So the other side has an answer for this. I'm just the guy who figured it out. And I'm sure there'll have to be a lot of adjustments because I'm not that smart. I'm just giving you what I'm seeing. In my vision, in my head, I see three divisions, not two. And I'm understanding this to believe that a third of the House should be poor, a third should be middle class, and a third should be rich. The Senate, a third of it should be poor, a third of it should be middle class, and a third of it should be rich. Everybody's given the same amount of money to run for office. And if someone slips you a buck, you're out of the race. You can trace most things. You spend 1 penny over what they give you, I don't know, whatever you want to do, $500,000 for each candidate to run for office. That's it. So now we have a country being ruled by equal groups, poor, middle class, and rich. The only flaw here that I can see is if the rich people don't pay the poor people to get their vote. See, there's always a way to make it. I say poor people have to vote. It's not going to be hard to follow the money. These idiots that are in office now, going back to Nixon, they did the same thing, follow the money. Slush fund with millions of dollars in it to pay for lawyers for these ex-FBI guys that broke into the Watergate offices and bugged it. How'd they get, the lawyers were there before the police arrived practically. But the next morning, they all had lawyers. They all had paid for lawyers. It came out of a slush fund out of the government. So, and they all get the same salary. And it can't be a lot. They can't be, there's a lot of rules. I'll have to fine tune it, but I'm saying you can't afford a house in the Hampton and live in Washington, D.C. You have one house. You can only afford one house, one household, children, whatever you need to do to survive there. I'm sure some accountant could sit down and figure it out. But you shouldn't make over X amount of dollars. Because then that makes you rich. And then we're being ruled by the rich again. Term limit? Yeah. Probably 4 or 5 years, and then you're out. Then there's a new election. The whole process starts over again. Only poor people can run for those third of the Senate houses, seats that are up for grabs. You have to be poor. You have to show your income. You have to have done that job for a while, qualified. Where these guys, there's a theory. If you took all the money in the world and spread it out equally among everybody, wrote a check to everybody for the same amount, within a year or two, the rich people would have the money again. Why? Because you ever wonder, rich people get rich by taking money from poor people, or they inherit it. And those people probably took it from somebody else. Ooh, it's going to be a complicated system. But you see what I mean? Equal representation. We're supposed to have equal representation. We don't. Poor people hardly get a vote on anything. Why? Because they don't have money. It's all about the money. They can't buy their way in the game. That's why those good poker games hang off in the rich neighborhood. You can't buy your way in. So, but you can elect your way in. Third of both houses have to be poor, third middle class, and a third rich, above a certain amount. And you can't run for that office. You got the same amount of money, but your income says you belong in the poor area and you'll represent those poor people. So now you've got kind of an equal vote. Yeah, I know it's flawed. Be fun to try it for a year or two, wouldn't it? To see what would happen. And one thing for sure, at midnight or 2 in the morning, you can't all vote yourselves a raise like they do now. They'll pass some, they'll have some vote on something to do with something, and then they'll tag on at 2 in the morning this thing about, oh, and by the way, we voted ourselves a 50% raise. None of that crap. All raises have to be approved by everybody. They can only be in increments. Makes running for office kind of difficult, doesn't it? Makes it certainly a sporting. That's all I'm asking for. We need a level playing ground. And that's what they were talking about. 3 parts to each house. I'm not sure if this is feasible, but that's what I saw in my head. Might take a step toward a level playing field. Everybody has the same opportunities. And we'll live out that creed, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, all men are created equal. We've said those things, but we don't do it. All men aren't equal. Equal opportunity, that'd be nice. People aren't equal. But they should be given a chance. What we have now is poor people, kids go to poor schools because they live in poor neighborhoods, and that's the taxes they can raise to support is they don't pay their teachers as much, their buildings are not as nice, they don't have buildings and grounds and things to play on that are good. I've seen it. I taught school. Rich people over on the west side of town, in my case, had everything. Nice buildings, buses, take them to events, everything. Poor side of town, lucky if the drinking fountain works. Equal opportunity. Let's see if we can't work on that a little bit. Most people are good at heart. I've met 1 million people. They all seem like they're good at heart, but you throw in money and power, they become idiots. There's hardly a day goes by that there isn't a scandal where somebody took money out of a campaign fund and bought a house with it or a car, spent it on trips. No, that's not what it's for. It used to be someone was sleeping with someone. That seems to have settled down a little bit, or they've just gotten more cautious about it. Let's level the playing field where this guy gets the same opportunity as this guy, as that guy. The world's not fair, but maybe we can make it that way. No, men aren't and women aren't created equal. Guys with the big brains go to Princeton and Yale and those colleges. People with average brains go to average schools. You can't fix that. You can't give an I an A because he knows his ABCs and the other guy knows the periodic table. You can't give the same grade for those 2 people. People aren't created equal. But the opportunity should be there. And that's all I'm saying. Silly idea, isn't it? It's a silly idea coming from a silly person. But that's what I saw. We could be that. Probably never have been that, but we could be that. No fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching.